Blessed to be part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning from College of Western Idaho. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Before we get to our roundtable of guests, we're going to go to Liberty Linda. I apologize. Sometimes I miss the call prompts from Ray. Good morning.
Well, good morning. You're having a very busy morning.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Anyway, I just wanted to call in and talk a little bit about making marijuana legal. You know, while I believe in complete freedom in our nation, however, when someone is smoking marijuana near you, it can get you high as well.
Really? Is that what they call secondhand smoke?
Right, yes.
Oh.
So that's something very important we need to think about. And plus, the smell will stay on your person, your clothing, and someone could smell that on you and think that you have been smoking marijuana. So that's another thing we need.
Or the drug dogs could think that you were that, or you're a stinky person. My solution would be, and let me apologize in advance, this is for entertainment purposes only, but if some guy's next to me smoking, I'd grab the can of Lysol and spray him down. Again, that comment's for entertainment purposes only, but you know where I'm getting.
You're always kind to everyone. But, you know, these are some points that are very important. And, you know, I had a friend tell me that when they were at a ball game, 2 or 3 levels below them, they were smoking marijuana. And when they got home, they smelled of marijuana also. You know, there's so many things that affect us if others are smoking marijuana around us that, you know, we need to be cognizant of these things. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think it should go legal. Even though I believe in the freedoms that we have here in the United States. Just a few that I wanted to mention to think about, for people to think about.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, we'll continue our conversation on that, Liberty Linda, and we appreciate you listening. If I don't see you, have a great weekend.
Okay, you as well, Kevin.
And Liberty Linda.
Yes.
You know what Nancy Reagan said, just say no.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No to drugs.
I can just say no. That's easy. That was a good
Hugs, not drugs, right, yeah.
I agree with you.
All right. Well, I'm giving you a radio hug right now. Thank you, Liberty Linda.
Okay, you as well. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Joining us now here on KIDO Talk Radio from College of Western Idaho, Kay Jensen joining us. She is the Dean of Math and Science. Talk a little bit about the STEM program. Todd Christensen returns from Cap Ed because we can't get enough of Todd and his riveting comments concerning a very important event coming up. Good to have you back.
Well, we have a great event that's currently taking place with Channel 7, KTVB, with an opportunity to help kids throughout the community. We're raising, through the 7 Cares Coat Drive, any of our branches here, either in the Treasure Valley or down in the Magic Valley, drop by either a new or used kids' coat, and that'll be going to the Salvation Army and be handed out in the next couple of weeks to make sure that kids stay warm throughout the winter.
Certainly very important now more than ever. We take a lot of things for granted until we don't have them.
Exactly. So,
again, if people want more information on that, what can they do?
They can hit our website at caped.com or stop into any one of our 10 locations. Again, here 9 in the Treasure Valley, 1 down in the Magic Valley. And if they don't have a coat but want to make a donation, they also can make a financial donation that'll go to help purchase coats for kids.
Well, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that every year that Cap Ed does that, partnering.
That's part of our giving back to the community.
It's so important. Thank you, Todd.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
You want to stay for Kay? She's going to talk about math and science. Not my forte, but it's up to you.
Math and science. Well, we just had one of our members of our IT team that just came through, and she has a class here this morning that I think is in that STEM arena, so that's awesome.
I like how you just kind of whip that back. All right. Kay, let's talk a little bit about something that's very intimidating to people, math and science. How do we get people to like it?
Sure. So we have to help people be successful in it. And I spoke with you about a year ago about our Math Solution Center, which is really an excellent entry point for the students who maybe have math phobia, have not had great experience with math. And we've been so fortunate in the 3 years that we've had that center to see students who had appealed to the highest levels to get out of a math requirement find success and actually complete math. And so this is a place where we want to welcome everybody, regardless of where they think they can go, and then give them opportunities to demonstrate what their potential is.
Right. I still like the idea of people appealing to get out of the math and science stuff.
Well, there's
birds of a feather.
self-advocacy that we teach around here too. So there's definitely value in that. But really giving students the opportunity to be successful. I mean, watching that particular student finish that final exam and pass with the 80% that we require, because we use a mastery model in that program, was an amazing moment.
Sure, life-changing.
Far better than, I won the appeal, right? I mean, he will move forward in a very different space because of that.
And how many of us can go back to any math or science course except those that are gifted in it or have that tenacity to get through it? I can remember a couple courses called probability and matrices and all these things, and just trying to squeeze by and ilk by and getting across the goal line there at the final seconds. This is a different approach, a more positive approach.
Absolutely, and an approach that's able to meet students where they are and help them to progress without having to go back. So in the old model, when students wouldn't pass a math class, they had to go back and start at the very beginning.
Heck
but
yeah!
They learned that, and so it was a very frustrating environment.
I know.
Sounds like you're.
Well, if you want to come back, we have a place for you too.
A lot of flashbacks. I might just do that.
You would be absolutely welcome. One of the things that I did hope to present today, though, is that CWI is a place not only for those students who maybe wanted to avoid math and science, but also for those students who really excel at it. We have great partnerships with our universities for students who want to go on and be engineers or computer scientists and chemists and physicists, all that. And they can start hearing
and we have that
really
here.
Excellent start.
Those are real people. That's just not people we see in the movies.
Correct. Those are real people.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
At some point, I mean, obviously talk radio is going to be a little hard to do a lab tour, but I'd love to highlight some of the equipment and the instrumentation that's available in our science labs. We've just launched 3 new Associate of Science degrees so that we can give students a really targeted pathway to a computer science degree, to an engineering degree in multiple facets, right? Engineering comes in so many different flavors at the university. And then also the students who maybe want to do really creative combinations of science, technology,
the scary
and
people.
math. Yes, exactly.
But
the wonderfully scary people who make a difference and give us the information we need to understand whether secondhand marijuana smoke is dangerous or not.
We learn a lot here on this program, but you go back to those scary people, whether it's in Silicon Valley or whether it's some dark lab where they come up with things. And who would have ever thought that our phones would be such an integral part of our lives 10 years ago?
Absolutely. My husband's saying to me all the time, "You're always on your phone." I'm like, "No, I'm actually on my computer," or "No, I'm banking right now."
You're working.
Yeah, I
right.
mean, my phone is very rarely an actual phone the way we may have thought of it 10 years ago.
Todd, your thoughts?
I get similar statements from my family
You're
or
on
my
your
wife
phone?
as it relates to being on my phone. I'm going to use that statement. I'm actually on my computer. I mean, the computing capacity that are in our smartphones today are, as I understand it, are greater than what put man on the moon. And so it's pretty incredible that we have it just at our fingertips.
Okay, anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Well, before I leave, I just want to encourage voters out there to be an active participant. There's a lot going on, whether it be the candidates or propositions, levies, et cetera, and we want people to vote, so be engaged.
And we covered that a little here.
I figured you might.
Just a tad. Todd, anything else?
I would echo that of get out and participate in the opportunity of voicing your opinion through the ballot box.
All right. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
We'll take you up on that very soon, very soon. And if not, when we're back here in 6 months, you can say, Kevin Miller.
You said you'd come.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
You.
Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning here on KIDO Talk Radio. Don't forget Miller's Mission coming up. Miller's Mission is our semi-annual trek to the Walmart at Garrity Boulevard and Franklin Avenue, Garrity Boulevard, take your pick in Nampa, where we ask you to give a turkey, not be a turkey. And as I said before, it is a wonderful experience. We raise money, non-perishable goods, clothing items, turkeys for our friends at the Boise Rescue Mission. Won't you help us help them? That is coming up very soon. Joining us now is Dr. Warren Treadgold. Dr. Treadgold, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Author of The University We Need. What are the challenges today in higher education, sir?
Well, there are a lot of challenges today in higher education, and it's hard to tell where to start. The one that I've been talking about in this book that I've written primarily is the fact that on most campuses, not all, you'll find that there's practically no difference of opinion that doesn't go to the left of well, the left-wing Democrats. It's something that's gotten worse and worse, and that has been more and more worrisome. I've been in the game for a long time, since I got my degree in 1977, and I've never seen it so bad. Every year it's a little worse. But, of course, there are things like higher costs. There are things that, like the quality of education, which in many objective ways is not getting better. There are all sorts of nationwide problems, and the ideological problem is the one that I think has gotten dramatically worse recently, but the whole education system is in trouble, and a lot of people think so right across the ideological spectrum.
Sure. How did it happen?
How did the left-wing problem happen? How did the higher costs happen? Because there are several different
not
things.
The higher cost. We'll get to that. But how did we go from teaching history objectively, and I'm just using history as an example, sir, of pro-American, this is America, to America is bad? How did that mission creep happen?
Well, I'm a history professor, so that's a good example to take with me. This is something that happened through many years of faculty hiring that was skewed towards not explicitly what was left-wing, but what was fashionable, what seemed to be the latest cutting-edge thing in history. And that always turned out to be a left-wing thing. And after years and years where you hire only left-wing professors, finally you end up excluding what such candidates as might not be left-wing. It's something that's now gotten to be explicit. The University of California system, for example, is now requiring all applicants, or applicants to almost all of its campuses for faculty positions, to say how they'll contribute to the diversity of the University of California system. And diversity is one of these things. It never says in the ad that you have to be left-wing in order to be hired. What it says is you have to believe in diversity and inclusiveness, and that means that you have to believe that America is an oppressive country that is oppressing blacks, women, gays, Hispanics, all sorts of different groups, but the one group that can never be oppressed are, of course, whites, males, people who, not that whites or males are necessarily majorities, but they're considered to be very bad people. And the country is considered to be a very bad country, and Western civilization is considered to be a very bad Western civilization. It's Columbus is a bad thing because, after all, he brought this evil civilization to oppress Native Americans. So this is what inclusiveness and diversity really mean, and you're told again and again that that's what the university has to be committed to because that's social justice. That's how it happened. And you can see how, without actually using the word liberal or progressive, this could mean that all progressives are hired.
We understand that it costs a lot of money. Why does tuition continue to go up? And a lot of people say the ROI continues to go down, return on investment.
Well, there are lots of reasons, but one very big reason that I think has been overlooked by a lot of people is the huge increase in cost in administration. It's just astonishing what proportion is spent on this. We're almost getting to the point where full-time administrators are outnumbering full-time faculty at many universities. And they're usually better paid, and incidentally, they're usually more left-wing. The cost of administration at Harvard, for example, are about 40% of the university's budget. And that's worse than it is a lot of places. The national average is around 20%, but that's still very, very high. And it's not necessary. It's something that the administrators who run the budget have done for themselves. They've hired lots of people like them, and they've hired lots of administrative assistants, and they've raised their salaries while cutting the proportion that has gone to education. That's one very big reason.
And what does that mean for the students?
Well, it means that, in effect, a large portion of the university's money is going to things that don't benefit them in the classroom in any way. And I would argue don't benefit them in any way at all. These administrators come up with various things like plans to make sure that there are more blacks and more Native Americans and more Hispanics, and especially that those people are favored, that there are all sorts of special programs for them, that there is a diversity requirement that you have to take as for your degree, that all sorts of things that there are special reading assignments for the summer, that there are student centers that are really more indoctrination centers than they are centers of education. And these things all come about through this huge bloat in administration. Sometimes there are new buildings built for them. That costs money. New buildings is one of the causes of higher education's higher costs. And there are various other things that are involved, but it's not the faculty and it's not education that's really driving all of this. As a matter of fact, faculty, if you include all these part-time adjunct professors, are being paid less than they've ever been paid before.
And one more time, where can people get your book and the title of it, sir?
The title of the book is The University We Need, Reforming American Higher Education, and you can get it from Encounter Books, which is my publisher, but you can also get it from Amazon.com very easily just by putting in The University We Need.
Well, thank you, sir. You have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
KIDO Talk Radio.
Hi, are you Jim? That's me. Hey, Jason from...
A recent study found 91% of the president's news coverage was negative. The other 9% was really negative.
There you have it, Nikki Haley last night, a personal appearance, getting a lot of laughs. Here's a way to start your day with a chuckle.
Actually, I saw Jeff Sessions earlier today, not in New York. I saw him on LinkedIn looking for a job. Actually, we both were.
And there you have it. You have to appreciate these politicians, these public servants that really, really deal with so much stress. And I get it, we pay them for it. But it's nice to hear when they can have a little laugh at each other's expense. It'd be nice if we could get back to that in our reality today. Maybe it's decaffeinated coffee. Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio.
Larry Gebert.
You know, earlier we were talking about this new danger that is impacting children all over the country. And we're going to get the details now from our own Shaw Turner on KIDO Talk Radio.
I'm really proud of you.
Those were the last words Tia Botkin said to her 11-year-old son, Carson, before he went upstairs to pack for a family trip. 10 minutes later, he was dead.
We're living minute by minute right now. We're all very sad. We miss him very much, and we're just trying to lift each other up.
Tia says her son had been playing the choking game, cutting off oxygen to the brain to achieve a feeling of being high. Experts say the deadly challenge is spread online.
We have internet blocks. We have internet protections for all of the boys. So we had all that, but I had let him look at YouTube because he wanted to learn skateboarding tricks. So I just assumed that that's what he was looking at.
We're going to talk more about that coming up here on these crazy, wacky challenges. And if you'd like to let us know about some of these online threats to our kids, our grandkids, I'd love to hear from you. Also, we're here at College of Western Idaho, still promoting our school, securing our future, thanks to our friends at CapEd Credit Union and T Mazda Subaru. But many of you may not be aware of these horrible things going on right now in the name of entertainment. And our job is to protect the family. We're going to do that next. Our time is 8:30. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
And certainly we know a lot going on here at College of Western Idaho. By the way, I want to give a shout-out to our friend Gregory. He's a student here. And his mom and grandmother, they listen. And we appreciate Gregory and everybody listening. And hello to Mom, hello to Grandma. Gregory here at CWI. His classes start at about 11, but he's here early. We appreciate him listening each and every day. Joining us now, Ryan Witt, instructor at the English department National Day of Writing, is that today, the National Day of Writing? Or, I mean, we have a National Day of Hot Dogs, we have a National Day of this, but...
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having me, man. Technically, it's tomorrow, but since it's a Saturday, they've kind of expanded it this year. So we're now talking October 19th and 20th, but as a consistent thing to put on your calendar, ladies and gentlemen, October 20th, National Day on Writing.
You know, they say if you can't talk, I don't want to say teach, but because I was a teacher, but for me, it was always writing is so intimidating. Is writing dead because we have all these emojis and the texting, and how do you reach people about the wonders of Shakespeare or a direct or indirect object? Or you can tell you're my favorite person. I always love talking to the English department. Yes.
Well, we don't diagram too many sentences right now.
Right.
So if some of your listeners remember that,
dangling participles, all sorts of things, prepositional phrase. Yeah, I could go on.
Go ahead and diagram a sentence today for the National Day on Writing
right.
as a kind of memento. That's interesting. Like the climate around writing has changed, right? And I don't think there's any question about that. One of the things that the National Day on Writing is about, and in particular what I'm doing here with the Persuasive Writing course that I'm doing, is to try to kind of expand the notions of what writing is to include that kind of writing that we do outside of the classroom. The National Day on Writing is really all about kind of making sure that folks recognize the place that writing has in their daily lives, not just as I sit down and write an essay or I read Shakespeare or whatever. The Twitter feeds, the Facebook, they may not seem like writing to folks, right? But it's still a way that you find to communicate to others in a way that's meaningful, and you may not think of it as reading either, right? But you're also interpreting the text, interpreting the particular images to get a certain
you've already raised the intelligence level of the program several thousand degrees. I'm going to have to try and bring it back here.
Let's dial it down. I got it.
But and you know, the people that are gifted with that, and Ryan, you'll have to explain that to me. I had a friend of mine, actually a boss, and he would write these treatises we'd call emails, on, and the thought that went into it. And I'm like, is it a comma or is it a period? Or, gosh forbid, I hope Grammarly catches the semicolon. But the folks that, can use writing to be persuasive, it is certainly a gift.
Absolutely. And I think that what counts as persuasion now might be a little bit different than it was kind of even 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now, what my kind of focus is, and the way I think about it in terms of my students and my classes, is really to think very much about how persuasion has changed. We still think of, and for those of you who may know the kind of three big rhetorical appeals, logos, ethos, pathos, those kinds of things, the emotional appeal, the logical appeal, the appeal to credibility, those things, those traditional kind of concepts, they go back to Aristotle. They still apply, right? But how you communicate them, that has changed. And so that's the thing, to kind of start breaking down the way that students think about writing, to think of, okay, so I'm writing a paper for my professor, and that's it, and nobody else reads it, to think about how can you apply those concepts to your real life, to the real world beyond the classroom, and to find a way to engage an audience. As you know, Kevin, like, the world's noisy, right? There's a lot of noise out there. And so how do you reach somebody with a message that really matters? That's kind of what this class is about, and this is what, in a lot of ways, the National Day on Writing is about.
And let's introduce Jody here.
Hi.
Jody, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good to be here as well. Let's talk a little bit about your passion for writing.
My passion for writing is kind of interesting. I don't consider myself to be that great of a writer, but I view writing as learning how to organize my thoughts. I do a lot of speaking in my profession. Happen to be a pastor here in the Meridian. And part of the reason, I took this class was to, let's put it this way. I kind of thought when I first showed up for class, it wasn't what I thought. I thought they did a bait and switch on me.
That never happens, does it?
Yeah.
That seems to be like the modus operandi for everything in my life, the bait and the switch. I could write a few stories on that, Jody, but I'm sorry, back to you.
Writing 201, persuasive writing. I thought when I got here, that we were going to have to write argument papers and persuade people to take the position that I was arguing for or against. And when I got here, learned that this was a service learning writing course, and I still wasn't sure what that was. And then when Mr. Witt explained that to me, I don't know what my face looked like. I can only imagine that I was just freaking out inside. But he showed us some prior projects and.
Okay, you got to talking to the microphone.
I'm sorry.
No worries. It's just you and me, and I'm happy because my shirt doesn't have food stains on it yet, and that's true. But your project, sir, why it's important?
My project, 2 parts. I chose to have people write on why they appreciate the service of our veterans and those in the military. And the flip side of that was to get those who are veterans and have served and maybe still are serving in a guard position or something like that to write why they chose to serve. And it has been interesting because, as you can see on the display there, I've had more people write thank you notes to veterans than I have had responses from veterans. And one of the conclusions I'm drawing is that veterans are really private about why they chose to serve.
Sure. And when we talk about your student, traditional, non-traditional, Ryan?
We run the gamut. I think the traditional student at CWI is kind of, there's almost no such thing. But we do run into, we have plenty of 19-year-old, 18-year-old, sometimes 17-year-old students right out of high school. We have a lot of dual credit students who actually take classes on campus. So, occasionally you'll get a 16 or 17-year-old dual credit student. But then we have students, all the way up to my age and beyond. And so it's wonderful because
mid-20s maybe?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, your age. It's okay. No. Earlier we were joking about me getting an AARP card, so no worries, sir.
I think your listeners cannot see all the gray in my beard, so I'm not that old.
We have full disclosure here. Ryan, let's talk a little bit about, though, what it means, whether it's Jody or a guy like Kevin Miller or whomever, to come into a class, put it together, and understand, wow, I can do this.
Yeah, and I think I do want to speak a little bit to the kind of point you started off here with, Kevin. Writing is intimidating, right? And oftentimes I have students who will come into the classroom, particularly, let's talk about a different class just for a moment, English 101, which is, first semester, first year writing, like students who, they haven't been in a classroom 30, 20, however many years. They are terrified, right? And I think it's legitimately so, because I think a lot of people's experiences around writing are the red pen on your, where's your comma, right? Those kinds of questions.
Where's your comma?
Where's your comma? What we try to do, and specifically I think what I try to do, but I think I can speak for my colleagues as well, is we try to break down that kind of sense of what their past experience has been. And in a lot of ways kind of talking about the Math Solutions Center in the same way Kay was talking about, reducing that anxiety. That's exactly what we try to do too. So we make things personally, like I start out my first assignment, we do a personal narrative. Like, tell me where you're from and what your educational experiences are. And so then we start drawing connections between where they are, what they're doing. So then by the time they're writing their 4th paper in the semester and they're doing an argument, they know what to do. So it's just a matter of kind of doing steps, but also it's very much about meeting students where they are. It's very much about having students have a voice in the classroom and recognizing that not everyone's coming in as that, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, fresh out of high school, I just wrote my senior project and I know what the hell's going on kind of student.
Right. And that's the magic of CWI. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.
You're listening to Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And by the way, my apologies to conservative Steve, who's called in so many times. We haven't gotten to him, and we love the calls. We love the contributors. Nonstop calls till the end of the program, but your listening doesn't stop. Glenn Beck is on after that. But my apologies to conservative Steve. I appreciate your brother, and if and when you call back in, we'll put you right up to the front. Let's go to the phones on KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning. And let's go to Pro-Life. Pro-Life, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Yeah, I just want to take about 1 minute and talk about Gosnell, the movie. Kermit Gosnell was an abortion doctor in Philadelphia. He murdered babies alive. His process was he would have the baby delivered alive, and then he would kill the baby.
Right. We've covered that story when it happened, and I believe that you can go see that movie.
Yeah.
Where is it? At the Majestic Theaters in Meridian. I think I saw it there. Dean Cain is in it. Is that correct?
Yeah. And, let's see. There's Boise Stadium, Majestic Cinemas, Nampa Spectrum. So anyway, that's all I want to say, and you can go to the next caller there, and God bless you, Kevin.
God bless you. I've been running into a lot of friends of yours that say that you've got some inside information on a few things, so maybe we need to to catch up. Maybe we'll see you, if nothing else, at Miller's Mission coming up. Maybe you could stop by and make a guest appearance since I'll be living at the Nampa Walmart.
Yeah, I live on the inside all the time, so.
Well, you need to share some of that. So thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll see you.
Pro-Life joining us. By the way, phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Let's get to Tea Party Bob, publisher of the Gem State Patriot, gemstatepatriot.com. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. Just wanted to say thanks this morning for all you do to promote the education in Treasure Valley, and also thanks Todd Christensen and Cap Ed for what is really a great opportunity for students by offering those savings accounts, and they can triple them. I don't know any other banking institution in Treasure Valley that offers any kind of a program like that.
Well, and for people that don't understand, it's a program from Cap Ed called the Matching Education Savings Account. Now, it's a one-time thing, but if you save $500 and you go into the MESA program, the MESA program, they will match that up to 3-to-1. So you put in $500, they will give you $1,500. That's one time only. But as you said, I don't know of any other institution that will do that.
No, usually they're taking my money. They're not giving us money. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the information highway that we allow our children to travel each day. Entertainment and the Internet are now synonymous with each other, but the other problems that increase with access to the content increase especially with our children. While the Internet can be an unbelievable tool in an educational manner, it's also a pathway to the dark side by teaching things to our children that we never thought were possible. And parents should be vividly aware of the dangers that lurk behind the vastness of the Internet information and make sure they put controls on what they can look at. Make sure there's supervisions when it's made available to them. We can't depend on law enforcement to protect our kids from the latest technology that they carry around with them in their pockets or sit on their desk at home.
Well, that's a good question. How do you do that, whether it's the stupid Tide Pod challenge, the cinnamon challenge, the choking challenge, getting kids to understand that this is not a good thing?
It's a good question. And you have to put controls on the communications devices they have if you want to save them from any of these problems that are going to pop up. People that put that stuff out there don't really care about the kids. They're just putting it out there, and they don't. The problem is we have so much access. We don't realize how much access our children have to this stuff, and it will change them over time. If you don't think it has an impression on them, think again. You see it time and time again when you have even these choking things or these blue sniffing parties, whatever it might be. It's a dangerous instrument as well as a very valuable instrument. So information is important, but it depends on who gets it and what kind of information they get. Always important to be informed, Tea Party Bob. Anything else? We enjoyed your spirited debate yesterday at Ed's 50s Cafe. I got a little bit out of hand. I don't like to do that, but anyway, it was fun. Thank you very much again for my time, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, Mr. Miller. All right. God bless, Tea Party Bob. Okay, as I said before, I owe this man an apology. He's been calling. I haven't gotten to him, and we always hold ourselves accountable. Conservative Steve, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, God bless you, my friend. Let not your heart be troubled. I'm good. I would just, the subject I have, I think is so important. So that's why I am persistent and persevering. So hopefully you'll give me a second here. Would that work? I am standing by, and we are at your disposal. Okay. Well, hey, love you guys, and no worries, man. It's good, man. But, you got ties with Hannity, man, so we need to get this on the air. I don't know if you have seen the video of Representative from Florida, I believe, Representative Matt Gaetz, Gaetz, for all your listeners. Well, Google up Representative Matt Gaetz, Gaetz, caravan video, and you will be shocked. They got a video out of there, and these caravan folks, there's two guys walking through the lines handing out cash to these people to get in line and keep marching forward, and one of them's got a pistol in the front of his pants, shoved in his pants, And it just shows them walking through the lines handing out money. And the reason I know this is true, I'm very familiar with it. Years ago, 20-some years ago, and this was a long time ago, even when I lived in California, there was some real crooked people running for the mayor of our little town in the farming area, and they were caught on video the same way on voting day, handing out packs of Marlboro and little pints of whiskey and everything to just people everywhere, and including cash. So I'm very familiar with this. So if your listeners will check out that video, you will be shocked. And like Rush Limbaugh said, how in the world does 4,000 people march hour after hour if somebody's not financing, personal hygiene, places to stay, fuel to travel, and basically Soros' name comes up multiple times. So if you watch the video, it's pretty exposing, Kevin. So that was kind of my word today. So
I believe we lost Conservative Steve.
Yeah, I'm here.
Traffic and weather together. Sorry about that, Conservative Steve. On KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave.
So recovered.
Thank you, Larry. Kevin Miller in the morning here. And as Tea Party Bob was referencing, something we began last half hour here on KIDO Talk Radio, this choking challenge that you should be looking out for and making sure that your kids are not trying to imitate on the Internet. Here are the details.
I'm really proud of you.
Those were the last words Tia Botkin said to her 11-year-old son, Carson, before he went upstairs to pack for a family trip. 10 minutes later, he was dead.
We're living minute by minute right now. We're all very sad. We miss him very much, and we're just trying to lift each other up.
Tia says her son had been playing the choking game, cutting off oxygen to the brain to achieve a feeling of being high. Experts say the deadly challenge is spread online.
We have internet blocks. We have internet protections for all of the boys. So we had all that, but I had let him look at YouTube because he wanted to learn skateboarding tricks. So I just assumed that that's what he was looking at.
There we have it. Life is so precious, isn't it? We hear the cliches all the time of they just went just like that. And, obviously we're fighting illnesses and we hear so much about cancer and all these other things. And yet those of us with good health, sometimes we don't appreciate it until it's gone or until someone that we love and care about is suddenly taken from us. And here we have parents, grandparents, teachers, losing kids across the country because of irresponsible people. Irresponsible people, that's how I can put it, coming up with these stupid challenges. I would love the internet companies to start regulating those folks like they represent good, God-fearing, wholesome conservatives. Now, that's one thing. I don't think that the Tide Pod Challenge has any relevant educational or health benefits. It's a danger. I don't think that the cinnamon challenge, and I've heard of these things, or this choking challenge has any benefit. And it is a danger. Folks, hug each other, appreciate each other. Don't know how long we all have together. That is so true now more than ever. Thanks to our friend Ray Amaya, always there. Thanks to CWI, Chandler here, and for you for giving us an opportunity to bless your morning. God bless. Keep the faith. Glenn's next. Stay tuned.